Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here as always. Let's jump into things today. June 3rd. So what we see over here for the 3rd is a moon sign in Leo. Our sun sign is in Gemini. We have a couple aspects that we want to look at here. These aspects are the moon sign is in trine with Uranus, and the moon is also in a square with Saturn. Okay, so we know that squares are lessons we have to learn, and we know that trines are nice, good, positive energies that are existing amongst them. So if we look at the idea of what this is here, Uranus is sometimes quick, unexpected change, surprises. And so in line with Leo, those things work together. This is an aspect that took place a little earlier this morning, not too long ago. And sometime within the next 2 hours, we're going to be experiencing this blockage or this square between Saturn, which is discipline, and Leo, righteousness. So the lion is going to come up against this wall of discipline, and the creative expression is going to have to find a more disciplined way in which it expresses itself. Okay? And Leo, we know, the lion is about righteousness, the sun, Gemini, communication. Alright, so this just gives us a starting point. Let's go look a little further here into the ephemeris. So if we just go straight across today, we got our sun in Gemini, our moon in Leo right today. Mercury is in Cancer. Venus is in Taurus. Mars is in Libra. Jupiter is in Cancer. Saturn is retrograde in Scorpio. And then here we have Aries. This is Uranus is in Aries, and then Neptune is in Pisces. And Pluto is in Capricorn. Okay? So what does all this mean? Well, what this means, let me take you a little bit more into this. We're going to get a little bit more as we go along into what all of this is about. This is the wheel of the zodiac. Okay, the wheel of the zodiac. So what we've got here is a grid, a circle, and this circle here comprises a bunch of houses. Remember on this particular symbol right over here, the tree of life, classrooms, right? All of these circles are classrooms. Well, within this particular classroom right here, the classroom of wisdom, this would be where you have lessons of the zodiac. So here is the zodiac right here. So what we have with the zodiac are 12 houses. A house is a place where you go and you have a particular quality of that particular house. So for example, in this very first house right here, we've got Aries in the first house, the ram. Aries is ruled by Mars. Now, when I say ruled by, what it means is that every one of the signs, there's 12 signs. Each one of the signs has a particular planet that is assigned to that sign as its like main planet. And so the term is it's ruled by. So Aries is ruled by Mars, which means its main planet that looks over it is the planet Mars, and so on. So as we go forth, that's what that means. So we've got Aries, Mars, Taurus, Venus, Gemini, Mercury, Cancer is the moon, Leo is the sun, Virgo, here is Mercury, but kind of a higher aspect of Mercury. We have Libra, which is dealing with Venus as well. And we have Scorpio, which is dealing with Pluto. Sagittarius, which is dealing with Jupiter. Saturn. Capricorn, which is dealing with is it Saturn? Wait, no. Yeah, Saturn, excuse me. And then Aquarius, dealing with Uranus. Pisces with Neptune. So these are all the key planets associated with them, right? And each one of these has a particular thing. Like we know Aries is the leader. You look at the leader, is the first one of the zodiac, the leader, the pioneer going forth. Taurus is an earth sign. So we're going to go fire, then we go earth, air, water. Then back. Fire, earth, air, water. And again, fire, earth, air, water. Okay, so we have this order that it goes. There's a progression that goes, in one direction, and sometimes the progressions go in another direction. The main thing at this point is just understanding what each one of these is about. So just like each one of the classrooms had a particular lesson you would go into, there's a particular lesson that you learn with each one of these houses. So in the house of Aries, we're learning these lessons about, here it shows, soul's purpose. Here, Taurus, beauty and wealth. Gemini, duality, communication. Cancer, home and family. Leo is arts and love. Work and health for Virgo. Contracts, partnerships with Libra. Life and death with Scorpio, Sagittarius. Religions. Forgiveness. Here we have career and structure with Capricorn. Then we have friends, wishes or goals with Aquarius, and Pisces or dreams, subconscious or spiritual side. Okay, so what we're looking at here, the whole idea is this. When we go over to the ephemeris, what we want to do, and this is a step-by-step process, we're not needing to get it all at once, but what happens here is that as we look at these things, we go across and we say, okay, we have, for example, in this particular one here, Mercury. Mercury is in Cancer. So we go over to look at the symbol of Cancer, and we see that Cancer right here is about home and family. Well, Mercury is a planet of communication. So if Mercury communication is in the area of Cancer, home and family, guess what? Put those two together, there's good communication going on in that particular area. Family related, home related areas. Okay? So the way we look at this is it's real simple. You just go and you find out what's where. So Venus is in Taurus. We know that Venus is the ruler or the main planet of Taurus. It's Taurus right here, being beauty and wealth. Venus is in there. And we can start to kind of get a little bit more ideas what each of these represents. Okay? So it's another way of looking at the energy. As we go along, we'll continue to increase what we're learning about the astrology so that we, can get a little bit deeper knowledge about it. It's a step-by-step process. We don't have to learn it all at once. But what you'll find is that once you understand the basic keywords of each one of these, you'll be able to put them together. It's like a puzzle. The keywords. And just think of today in the computer, the internet, how important keywords are. Keywords help to associate where you're going to go on the internet. You type in a keyword into Google. That's what it is. You're typing in a keyword. That keyword is then going to go into a search index, and it's going to find places on the internet where that keyword is being used. So if you have a website that particularly uses those words, then when Google goes through the searching, it's going to say, hey, your website is using this keyword. Let's check this website out because this is something that is going to be related to this particular subject. And then, of course, depending upon how many people are going to that website will determine how high up in the rankings it is in the Google search engines. Okay, so same thing here. As we understand the keywords of what the numerology, the numbers are, and we understand the keywords of what the zodiac houses are, and the keywords of what the planets are, it helps us to understand a little bit more and put those together. And the keywords of the tree of life, again, all these keywords. And as we put it all together, one thing we're going to start to find is a common thread, that it doesn't matter what the system is from place to place, symbols are the same. 2s are 2s, 3s are 3s, 4s are 4s. Mercury is Mercury here in this system as in this system. Jupiter's the same here. So once you kind of get to that understanding, it kind of makes it a little bit easier to figure out. It's just putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Don't want to throw out too much at once, so we just learn a little bit at a time. And if we learn it in baby steps, then it makes it a lot easier to be able to digest. Because again, there's so much information here that we could get bogged down. We don't want to get bogged down. It's not about giving our power up to anything like this and bogging ourselves down with it. It's just being able to learn from the system how to read the energy. And the numerology for today is the number 7. The number 7. So let's see how we've arrived at that. Right here. 6 for the month, 3 for the day, 2014. So that's a 7 plus a 3 plus a 16. 6 is a 16. 1 plus 6 equals 7. So by the process of theosophic subtraction, we come up to the number 7. Number 7 right here. The Chariot. Chariot teaching us the lessons of dealing with our emotions. How do we deal with our emotions? Simple. We put on the armor of protection to protect us from being caught up in all of the emotional buttons that get pushed. We allow spirit to flow through us, so that spirit is guiding the chariot. That way all the riddles and the dualities of life get solved because we're not caught up in our own personal agenda. We're allowing spirit to assist us in the process. The moon sign for today, strength. Leo, righteousness or right useness. And then of course Gemini, the sun sign for today. Okay, communication. Remember the male, the conscious, and the unconscious mind working together with the higher self. Now we could go like this for each one of the signs. There's a card that represents each one of the planets, a card that represents each one of the astrological signs. The cards are simply there as guides to help you with a picture to help you understand a little bit of what that means. That's all. Okay? That's all that is about. So we start putting them together and we find out how they are all associated. So we see the 7 here. Numerology is taking us from understanding what we understand to severity. Sometimes when we understand things, we have to deal with the lesson of our humility. Because sometimes in understanding things, we can get too big for our britches, thinking that what we know is way more important than it might actually be. Or we have that information and we get power hungry, or we need to learn how to use that power. So we have to bring ourselves from that place of severity back to the heart. We have to use our discernment, Gemini. Use a discernment to see that not everything is a battle, that we can use our strength to make it a challenge, something positive instead of warlike. Channel the energy into a positive creation. And of course, Leo right down here, strength, is taking and merging that. So we merge that idea of that severity, we balance it out with humility so that we have a nice good balance. Okay, starting to see how this whole thing kind of comes together. It's just a piece, it's a puzzle. That's all it is. It's just a puzzle, and as we work with this puzzle and just keep practicing with it, we get better and better, and understanding how it all goes together. And then, of course, we have a waxing moon, which means we're on our way up to the full moon, 30% of the way there. This week, the sky for today says look above the moon early this evening. So here's going to be our moon sign. Our moon is in Leo, so there's Leo right there. Regulus is going to be above this. Regulus and Gamma is right up here. They're the two brightest stars in the sickle of Leo. So as the moon is in the sign of Leo, our moon sign is in Leo, we could see that Leo is present right here. So our moon is literally in Leo. That's what that means. Okay, over here to the Mayan Oracle, we have a 8-tone day, which is called the galactic tone. We have the warrior, again, synchronicity with the number 7 for today. The warrior question mark, because the warrior uses intelligence, asks questions to get through situations rather than just going in blindly to fight. So we have the galactic tone, the warrior, and the guide is the sun. So it's the galactic warrior guided by the sun, or galactic intelligence. Now if we take this galactic tone right here, it says it's the tone of integrity. So it's the integrity of intelligence guided by enlightenment. Okay, and then fearlessness is tied in with this idea of the warrior. Phrase for today is I harmonize in order to question, modeling fearlessness. I seal the output of intelligence with the galactic tone of integrity. I'm guided by the universal power of universal fire. So we see our position here along this theme, or the theme of purification. Okay. Spaceweather.com, we want to find out what our solar wind is, what the actual energy of the sun is doing to us. 342.0 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index between a 1 and a 3. Big coronal home down here, but nothing that is directly facing us yet. M-class flare possibility still at 1. X-class is still at 1 as well. Geomagnetic storm activity 15% in the mid-latitudes. In the higher latitudes, it's a bit higher, between 20 and 30%. And last, over here on the Jewish calendar for today, today is 5 Sivan. Omar count 49. Now, if you remember, the Omar is the count that takes us between the Exodus from Egypt, and it's the 49 days between there and the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai, the 10 Commandments. And that begins the festival, or the time of Shavuot. So that will begin. It's tomorrow. And the feast and these festivals usually begin after sundown. So later this evening is when we're going to move into that period of Shavuot. Now for the daily reading here. Daily thought. Big daily thought today. Daily thought. Truth concentrate. The Torah we were given is not of this world, nor is it something extraneous to it. Rather, it is the hidden essence, the primal thought from which all the cosmos and each thing within it extends. It is not about the world, it is the world as the Creator sees it and knows it to be. The sages of the Talmud told us that the Torah is the blueprint God used to design His creation. There is not a thing that cannot be found there. Even more, they told us that Torah is far beyond the world, beyond time, beyond any sort of being. God and His Torah are one, for His thoughts are not extraneous to Him, nor do they affect any change in Him as do our thoughts. Rather, His thoughts, His wisdom, His desire are all simple oneness that does not change. But He took that infinite wisdom and condensed it into a thousandfold, a billionfold, and more into finite earthly terms that we could grasp, yet without losing a drop of its purity, its intimate bond with Him. Then He put it into our hands to learn, explore, and extend. So now, when our minds grasp a thought of Torah thoroughly, we utter clarity, we grasp that inner wisdom, and when we are completely absorbed in the process of thought, comprehension, and application, our self and our being is grasped by that infinite wisdom, which is the essence of all things. We have grasped it, and it grasps us in truth. We become that essence. Okay? So, very good. If you want to study further, Psalms 29 to 34, some other books to go through here. So, Shavat is coming up tomorrow, actually tonight, so another very important time for us to be aware of, because the Talmud, or the Torah, 10 Commandments, very, very important to society. All right, there you have it. That gets us started for today. UFO News is up. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. So today, our first story is going to start up with a compilation from the month of May. This is a 3-minute, 39-second compilation. Covers a lot of things that we have already seen. So we seem to, we've got a good way of getting in touch with a lot of these videos. A lot of people are on top of them, so I certainly can't take credit for all of that. I simply am just presenting what's out there and available. But we've seen shots coming off of the moon. We've seen shots around Mars. We've seen things up by the ISS. We've certainly seen plenty of things down here on Earth in a variety of locations. And of course, we've seen our fair share of shots using night vision, various parts of the world. Okay. So lots of good stuff here. Lots of good things. And of course, this was up in the clouds, the one that was taken from the airplane. All right. So there you have it. So that's our first one. That's the compilation. Check out the full thing rather than just skipping through like I did. Here's a crop circle. This is the latest crop circle. This one removed by the user. Well, that's a bummer. Now this one is reported near Hod Hill in Dorset. And not even getting any mark there. Okay, well, there was something. Oh, maybe this is it now. There we go, okay. A new video in there. Alright, here's the latest. Alright. So we ain't seen anything like this before. Let's get a good look at that. What we have here is one big circle somehow connected to this outer circle here, with 1, 2, 3 rings around it, all enclosed within 2 squares, and then a big outer circle. Of course, a division of 4 right here. What does it mean? I don't know what it means. I'm just pointing out what I see. That's the latest. Alright, let's move on from there. If you have any ideas of what you think this is, let me know. Here we have a triangle UFO descends 20 feet above a witness's car in California. 2 California witnesses southbound along Highway 5 in Collings reported watching a slow-moving triangle-shaped UFO with 3 huge white lights on its underside that descended just 20 feet over the vehicle, according to a June 2nd testimony from the MUFON database. The reporting witness was driving with a passenger in the vehicle, heading to Phoenix when the object was first seen and thought to be a plane about midnight on the 29th of May. It flew straight up and over us. It went up quick in a field and then flew right over us, slowly. It had huge white lights on the underneath. It took off straight towards us, and I thought, why would a plane fly so low? Then I saw the underside of the huge white round lights. It was dark in color, with sharp edges, triangle shaped with no other lights. It flew maybe 20 feet over us. Okay. More to the story. Check it out. Here we have university credit for studying UFO cases. How about that? Victorian UFO hunters are sitting exams to better equip themselves to investigate some of the nation's most baffling cases. Their course could even be part of the TAFE curriculum, so anyone with an interest in the unexplained could become qualified. It comes as fresh details emerge over a bizarre incident in the sky above Bacchus Marsh last year. Members of Victorian UFO Action have accused authorities of a cover-up as they seek answers about exactly what happened that night. Video and pictures they obtained show a glowing disc-shaped object darting across the horizon, occasionally hovering in one spot. The group claims a military helicopter was seen following its flight path. The authorities knew there was something anomalous above Melbourne's airspace that evening and were powerless to intercept it. VOFA Director Ben Hurl said, "This event stands as an example what the skies of Victoria are visited by unknowns, and the authorities are unwilling to admit it." The group also focuses on previously classified UFO-related files held by Australia's military intelligence agency and civilian bodies. Alright, and here's some examples of the questions. What are the 5 possible man-made explanations when reporting on UFO cases? Identify the essential equipment needed to conduct investigations. How do you cross-check a story from a witness? And what are the 3 most likely scenarios to help explain a UFO sighting? More information on this, click the link there, and we're going to move on. Alright, this next 2 stories dealing with NASA. The first one is, about the NASA, says, well, with NASA temporarily out of manned spaceflight business, our once proud space program has been reduced to paying Russians over $70 million per seat to ferry astronauts to the International Space Station. Now the private company SpaceX, which has already completed 3 successful missions to the space station, has unveiled its Dragon V2, which will not only be able to carry 7 astronauts in orbit, but can return them safely and land them in your backyard with precision of a helicopter. Alright, there it is right there. It's a 2-minute, 10-second video. Kind of shows how this all works. Alright, pretty interesting. So while NASA is unable to get our astronauts to space, the SpaceX thing might have a little better option. Especially now, Russia's cutting off the Americans, so pretty soon the Americans won't even be able to get there any other way except with something like this. So we'll see how this unfolds. One more story with NASA. This one is NASA and also related to Star Trek. Remember yesterday we saw the Star Trek technologies of the phaser, and then of course the 3D printed food like the like we could see on the Star Trek ship and some of the futuristic movies. Well, here we have NASA talking about warp drive research. Warp drive, we know where we heard that term from, right? NASA discusses its warp drive research, prepares to create a warp bubble in the lab. Last year, it emerged that a small team of NASA researchers were working on warp drive technology in the lab, led by Harold Sonny White. The team devised a variation of Alcubierre warped drive that could almost be feasibly produced if we could work out and produce and store antimatter. Now, White is ready to discuss some other facets of this warp drive, such as the energy requirements, what a spacecraft with a warp drive would look like, and what it would be like to travel at warp speed. When it comes to interstellar travel, due to the massive distances involved, the only feasible solution for reaching other planets and stars is a method of transport that travels at close to or faster than the speed of light. The nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, is just over 4 light years away. At a speed of 62,136 kilometers, the speed at which Voyager 1 is flying through space, it would take roughly 67,000 years for a spacecraft to reach it. There are a variety of proposed propulsion systems such as ion drives, but none of them really get close to the speeds necessary to enable the exploration of other planets in under a few thousand years. Warp drives, while years away from even small-scale testing, if they're even possible, are one of the few exceptions that would allow same lifetime space travel. Okay, so there you go. I thought that would fit into UFO news because we will sooner or later be the UFOs out there in space. But then again, traveling across space is one way, but traveling through space, through time portholes and things like that. Well, that's something else that's going on as well. All right, let me jump away. I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
All right, continuing on. This is a Godzilla-like planet. It's out there. Godzilla of Earth identified. There's a new class of planet out there that astronomers are called the Mega Earth. It is an object with a hard surface like our own, but a world much, much bigger. The necessity for the new designation follows the discovery of a planet which has the mass some 17 times that of Earth. Known as Kepler 10c, it orbits a star about 560 light years away. Scientists described its properties at an American Astronomical Society meeting in Boston. They confess it is something of a head-scratcher. Theories had always thought that any planet that large would pull so much hydrogen on itself that it would look more like Neptune or Jupiter. The proper way to call something bigger than a super-Earth. So how about a mega-Earth? Professor Dimitar Cecilov of the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics told reporters he also uses the phrase the Godzilla of Earths. Okay, so there you go. That's pretty interesting there. What they're finding out there is amazing, and they're going to keep finding more, and scientists will find that what they thought they knew, they really don't know. They really don't know. They're still discovering. All right, we hear stories of superhumans all the time. Here we have a series of amazing people with real superpowers. The world of comics and movies is full of superheroes and characters with abilities that transcend what is possible for the typical person. We enjoy these stories because we can escape our reality and imagine what it would be like to have amazing powers of our own. Yet a gifted few in the world don't have to imagine, because these superpowers in comics and movies, they too have extraordinary powers beyond normal humans. Here's some. This first one, this is pretty amazing here. Not long after Liam Hoekstra was born, his parents noticed that there was something different about the boy. At just 2 years old, Liam was able to stand with assistance, and by 8 months he was doing pull-ups and walking up and down the stairs. By 3, he was lifting up pieces of furniture around the house that some adults would even find difficult, as well as other amazing properties. Once during a tantrum as a toddler, Liam's mother recalls him punching clearly through the plaster wall. The power gave Liam surprising speed and agility. I mean, look at this kid. 3 years old, look at that. That's quite something there. Okay, then we go down here. Here we have, what's this one here? Invulnerability. 1994, an unidentified man known as John was involved in a car accident. He emerged relatively unscathed with some bumps and bruises. Here we have one about super endurance. Dean Carnes is not your usual long-distance runner. The prolific marathon runner has performed several inhuman feats of running during his career, but most well-known perhaps was when he ran 50 marathons in 50 states in 50 consecutive days without taking off any time to rest. Pretty intense there. Super reflexes. Isio Mashiel, a Japanese swordsman who possesses reflexes far exceeding what a normal person is capable of. He is known in Japan for his displays of freakishly fast reflexes, such as cutting in half arrows or airsoft pellets in midair with a katana sword. A Serbian man by the name of SaLuSa May-30-2014 allegedly has the array of electrical abilities and claims to be able to act as insulator, conductor, and accumulator, and a heater. The only man known as real-life Aquaman, the man known as Solvin, is a spear fisherman who has lived most of his life on sea aboard a houseboat with the rest of his family and rarely comes to shore. He spends his days fishing and living a simple life in the water. There he is right there. And Ben Underwood was diagnosed with retinal cancer at the age of 2, which necessitated the surgical removal of both eyes. As he grew up, he discovered a rather amazing ability. He found at the age of 5 he was able to click his tongue to gather info on the surroundings based on the echo he heard, similar to the way dolphins use echolocation. Your pain tolerance, Tim Critidad, also known stage name as Zamora, as the Torture King, is an entertainer specializing all manner of dangerous stunts involving extreme pain, such as sword swallowing, firewalking, body piercing, and electrocuting himself. Here we have Tibetan monks who trained and cultivated their mental and physical abilities to the point that they are able to display amazing powers. One of their abilities is to raise temperatures of their skin by 8 degrees Celsius while their core temperatures remain the same. Okay, so quite fascinating, the powers that are out there and what people can do. So read through these articles. I think you'll really find it more fascinating to learn a little bit more about each of these individuals and what they're about. I mean, this one of the kid here, this one is really trippy. I mean, look how built this kid is already at that age. That's quite something. All right, let's continue on with our discussion of the book of Urantia. It's a little overview looking at the picture here. We've got Paradise Isles. Paradise Isles at the center of everything around it. The universe of Havana with these rings around it. Some go clockwise, others go counterclockwise. Here it is right here. And around them are the 7 super universes, okay, of which we are one of them. Okay, and just examples of these rings, how they revolve. And outside of the 7 super universes, we have these additional concentric rings of space, inner space, outer space, and so on. Okay? Now, from there, we're going to continue on with looking at this next aspect, Orvonton. This is where we're getting closer to us, the 7th super universe. General aspects of super universes. As far as the Universal Father is concerned, as a father, the universes are virtually non-existent. He deals with personalities. He is the father of personalities. As far as the Eternal Son and the Infinite Spirit are concerned, as creative partners, the universes are localized and individual under the joint rule of the Creator Sons and the Creator Spirits. As far as the Paradise Trinity is concerned, outside Havana there are just 7 inhabited universes. The 7 super universes which hold jurisdiction over the circle of the first post-Havana space level. The 7 master spirits radiate their influence out from the central isle, thus constituting the vast creation, one gigantic wheel. The hub being the eternal isle of paradise, the 7 spokes, the radiations of the 7 master spirits, the rim of the outer regions of the grand universe. Super universe and organizations and government. Early in the materialization of the universal creation, the 7-fold scheme of the super universe organization and government was formulated. The first post-Havana creation was divided into 7 stupendous segments, and the headquarter worlds of these super universe governments were designated and constructed. The present scheme of administration has existed from near eternity, and the rulers of these 7 super universes are rightly called Ancients of Days. Now we go from there to Orvonton. A. The organization of Orvonton. The super universe. 10 major sectors. About, 1 trillion inhabitable planets constitute a super universe. Each super universe is provided with an enormous and glorious headquarters world ruled by 3 Ancients of Days. The Titania system of inhabited worlds is far removed from Urversa, and the great sun cluster, which functions as the physical and astronomic center of the 7th super universe. From Jerusalem, the headquarters of Satania, it is over 200,000 light years to the physical center of the super universe of Urantia, far, far away in the dense diameter of the Milky Way. Satania is on the periphery of the local universe, and Nebadon is now well out towards the edge of Orvonton. From the outermost system of inhabited worlds to the center of the super universe is a trifle less than 250,000 light years. The Milky Way, the central nucleus. Most of the starry realms visible to the naked eye, the Milky Way, belong to the super universe of Orvonton. Practically all of the starry realms visible to the naked eye on Urantia, that's our home world, belong to the 7th section of the grand universe of the super universe of Orvonton. The vast Milky Way starry system represents the central nucleus of Orvonton. Being largely beyond the borders of your local universe, This great aggregation of suns, dark islands of space, double stars, globular clusters, star clouds, spiral, and other nebulae, together with myriads of individual planets, forms a watch-like, elongated, circular grouping of about 1/7 of the inhabited evolutionary universes. From the astronomical point of Urantia, as we look through the cross-section of nearby systems by the great Milky Way, you observe that the spheres of Orvonton are traveling in a vast elongated plane, the breadth being far greater than the thickness and the breadth of the far greater than the breadth. Observation of the so-called Milky Way discloses the comparative increase in Orvonton stellar density when the heavens are viewed in one direction, while the other side of the density diminishes. The number of stars and other spheres decreases away from the chief plane of a material superuniverse. When the angle of observation is propitious, gazing through the main body of this realm of maximum density, you are looking towards the residential universe and the center of things. Reversa. The personal abodes of each trio of the Ancient of Days are located in the point of spiritual polarity and the headquarters spheres. Such a sphere is divided into 70 administrative sectors and has 70 divisional capitals in which the Ancient of Days reside from time to time. Reversa is surrounded by 7 clusters of 7 worlds, universities of advanced special training. When completed, the 7 super-universes will contain slightly less than 500 billion architectural worlds. Uversa, the headquarters of Orvonton, your super-universe, is immediately surrounded by the 7 higher universities of advanced spiritual training for ascending will creatures. Each of these 7 clusters of wonder spheres consist of 70 specialized worlds containing thousands upon thousands of replete institutions and organizations devoted to universe training and spirit culture, wherein the pilgrims of time are re-educated and re-examined preparatory to their long flight to Havana. The arriving pilgrims of time are always received on these associated worlds, but the departing graduates are always dispatched for Havana direct from the shores of Reversa. Uversa is the spiritual and administrative headquarters for approximately 1 trillion inhabited or uninhabitable worlds. The glory, grandeur, and perfection of the Orvonton capital surpasses any of the wonders of time-space creations. If all the projector local universes and the component parts were established, there would be slightly less than 500 billion architectural worlds in the 7 super-universes. So our super-universe is called Uversa. Uversa, the headquarters of Orvonton, our super-universe. Okay, so the super-universe that we're part of is called Orvonton, and the main headquarters, Uversa. The standard day is equal to almost 30 days of Urantia time. A year equals 100 standard days. Time is standardized on the headquarters of the super-universes. The standard day of the super-universe of Orvonton is equal to almost 30 days of Urantia time, and the Orvonton year equals 100 standard days. The Uversa year is standard in the 7 super-universe and is 22 minutes short of 3,000 days of the Uversa time, about 1/8 and the 1/5 of the years. The major sector, 100 minor sectors make up 1 major sector. Each major sector is provided with a superb headquarters and is presided over 3 perfection of days, supreme trinity personalities. 8 of the major sectors of Orvonton have been astronomically identified. One of the major divisions of Orvonton, which is our super-universe, 8 have been roughly identified by Urantian astronomers. The 2 other are difficult to separate recognition because you are obliged to view these phenomena from the inside. If you could look upon the super-universe of Orvonton from a position far distant in space, you would immediately recognize the 10 major sectors of the 7th galaxy. Better methods of space measurement and improved telescopic technique will sometime more fully disclose the 10 grand divisions of the super-universe of Orvonton. You will at least recognize 8 of these immense sections as enormous and fairly symmetrical star clusters. You major the 5th, the headquarters of your major sector, Splendon, is surrounded by the 70 spheres of the advancing intellectual training of the super-universe. The major sector comprises about 1/10 of the super-universe and consists of 100 minor sections. 10,000 local universes and about 100 billion inhabitable worlds. Okay. And let's see where we're going to go from here. With the major sectors, we got the minor sectors. Okay. The local universe, we're going to jump down here. The local universe, 100 constellations constitute a local universe. Each local universe has a magnificent architectural headquarters world and is ruled by one of the coordinate creator sons of God of the order of Michael. Each universe is blessed by the presence of a union of days, a representative of the Paradise Trinity. Salvington, which is the capital of Nebadon, which is our local universe, is surrounded by 10 university clusters of 49 spheres each. Hernan is man spiritualized following his constellation. So we have, let's back up here, so we have Orvonton, which is the name of our super universe. And the super universe is made up of many, many universes. And within there is a universe called Nebadon. And Nebadon is our particular local universe. And our local universe is ruled over by one of the creator sons of the order of Michael. Okay? And the capital of our local universe is called Salvington. Alright, there's more here, but I'm going to continue on tomorrow with this section about local universes. So there's some more for you to read to kind of catch up on. As you can see, it's quite expansive, right? So we have the Isle of Paradise, surrounded by the Havona worlds, which move in clockwise and counterclockwise directions. Outside of those are 7 super universes. One of those super universes is called Orvonton. That is our super universe. Within that super universe is our particular local universe called Nebadon. The capital of Nebadon is Salvington, and Nebadon, our particular local universe, is looked over and watched by the order of Michael. Okay? Christ Michael. And within that Orvonton, within this Nebadon, the local universe, is our particular planet world, which is Urantia. All right? All right. You got it? You got it? I think so. All right. We'll refresh tomorrow. We'll look further about what's going on, but quite fascinating. And we're learning more and more about our universe. Can you feel your consciousness expanding just from reading all this and looking at it? Kind of, it's pretty cool the way it happens. All right, let's move on from there. This is an article up at 5D. Greg Prescott. It's a story of a kid named Adam. Very, very intelligent kid. You know, you've heard the story, the children are our future. Well, this is certainly one great example of that. Because this is a story of a kid who has made this very fascinating grid of crystals. There he is right there. Let me just...
Called a circular rectangle. As you can see, there's 4 crystals along the sides. This one, that one, and that one. And they go up like zip, 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 zip to the middle rock.
Above
like,
it?
It's like a I don't know how long, but like a foot long from it.
Okay, above it?
Well, not foot, like just like this much above.
So they join together above the center rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this one shoots up to the middle as well, and this one, all of them go like these 4 rocks go up into this too. And including this shoots up into the thing.
And what's the purpose? What happens when they all join together like that?
Well, every single rock on the table, it all goes up like splits in the middle. Like all of these rocks go like all together.
Mm-hmm.
So then when it does that, it creates a like ginormous, like about almost as high as the Empire State Building.
Wow.
Even higher.
So what happens to the energy then?
It's like it's a bomb and it explodes. So it like clears all the dark energy out, so it doesn't like, so the dark energy doesn't do any more damage to like people who are hurt or scraped or even dying.
Okay, so it's pretty fascinating here. Pretty fascinating what this kid has created, right? And so if we go over here, as we go over here, we can see she's describing the different ways. Let me just kind of zip through here. It's a 7-minute, 54-second video. And as we jump up here, we can see a little bit more of what this looks like. Okay, here's some more close-ups. Basically, as Adam is describing, all of these basically are charging this large crystal right here. Okay. So, took Adam about 10 minutes to build this grid, which is full of various crystals, amethyst, aphophile, celestial smoky quartz. So, pretty amazing. Pretty amazing, you know. Definitely kids are the future, and little kids are coming in with all of this knowledge. Remember how Dolores Cannon, she was talking about the different waves, and these last group of kids that are coming in with all of this knowledge? Well, this knowledge comes from somewhere, okay? For this little kid, he didn't learn this in school, and yes, he's building these grids out of crystals using technology that many of us do know was used during the time of Atlantis. So this kid pulling this wisdom from somewhere. So pretty awesome. We need to encourage kids like this to continue with what they're doing. It's strange. You go to this site here and you see people put comments up at the videos, and I'm always baffled at why there are those who choose to put down others, especially when, you know, people are putting down these kids for these ideas. And some of them, you could see from their avatars, are adults. So it's kind of weird. Very skeptical adults. You know what it is? Adults are just afraid because kids are smarter than adults these days in many ways. And you know, adults have to stop being afraid and just honor the fact that these little kids have some important wisdom, and if we learn from it, well, we could really grow. It's about putting our ego aside so that we can learn about what's going on. And once we do, it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right, that brings us to our message for today. Today's channeled message comes to us from SaLuSa. Here we go, SaLuSa.
SaLuSa.
By Mike Quincy, May 30th, 2014.
SaLuSa.
We observe what you call the hot spots of negative energy brought about by the confrontation of groups that have different aims in life. Some choose to impose them on others, with the result that clashes take place that often lead to a serious outcome. These are yet further lessons for all concerned until they realize that differences must be settled through peaceful negotiations, and are the only way forward. Man has almost always sought to settle differences through the use of threats or violence to gain his own way. The message that peaceful negotiations are the only way to achieve a peaceful settlement is just beginning to be accepted, and the people are leading the way. Sooner rather than later, your leaders will realize that there is only the one way forward to permanent peace. With it will come great changes that will move you out of the lower vibrations into a peaceful era. Our presence helps to ensure that matters do not fall back into the old patterns of confrontation, as we are preventing the dark ones from progressing from their present position. We have been given the authority to intervene where it is necessary to maintain the progress towards full peace, and a total end to warlike confrontations. So be assured that regardless of any outward appearance, steady progress is being made towards the goals that have been set. In the greater picture, we are constantly monitoring your weather and its effect upon you, but certain necessary changes must be allowed to go ahead as part of the moves that will take you into the new age. The groundwork is going ahead in respect of a number of different projects, and at a desirable speed, and many new ideas are waiting to be revealed. Quite a number of them are already known to you, and it is simply a matter of waiting until the right time to introduce them. In one way or another you will eventually be able to change your way of living to eliminate many aspects that are costly and time-consuming. Free energy would clearly represent a major change, and one that would be very welcome. It is already known in a number of ways that can help every family, and it is eventually going to supply all of your needs regardless of the numbers involved. There are also many changes to come where your medical profession is concerned, as by moving into the higher energies you will no longer be subject to the cut and cure approach. Indeed, it will become unnecessary, as the body vibrations will eventually rise to a point when no disease will be able to assail your body. Meantime, you will gradually refine the ways treatment is given, and reduce the need to use the knife. Diseases of many kinds are rampant upon Earth, but these also will gradually disappear due to the increase in vibrations. So you can see that your future is bright and that all undesirable aspects of life will disappear. We know that some of you wonder why it has taken so long to reach this point in time, and it is down to each age having passed without sufficient progress having been made. However, you have now succeeded in reaching a sufficiently high vibration to leave the old ones behind, and soon you will start to experience the benefits that come with it. There is so much changing even now that you are unaware of, although certain people follow the changes as part of their work. Your problem is that so much is still kept secret, and additionally there are those who oppose progress and seek to muddy the waters. As individuals you can help others through what is for many a difficult period, by assuring them that all will take a turn for the better very soon. That what they experience going on around them is only the outer activity of magnificent changes that will permanently change things for the better. The old ways are no longer suited to the time you are in, and as such will simply fade away. Some people will be frightened by what they see, but if you have the opportunity to speak with them, simply explain that it is a necessary cleansing so that the new age can really get underway. Once the cabal lose their power and influence to shape your future, the truth will come out and remarkable and welcome changes will go ahead. Be assured that we have all the means at our disposal, to go speeding ahead once it is safe to do so. Unfortunately, the mainstream press is still under the influence of the cabal, but it is an area that we are working on to remove those that pull the strings. The press is not yet free to print what it chooses, but when those that presently control are out of the way, revelation after revelation will open your eyes to how you have been deliberately misled and held back for millennia of years. Try to read between the lines when news stories break, as sometimes they are contrived or totally false. The real news is held back, but in time that will no longer be possible, as many sources will begin to open up to the truth. You are coming out of an age where the dark ones were allowed to have free reign, by which they presented the most difficult challenges to the light. Although the outcome was not known because free will was given, it was considered that the light would end up victorious. That victory took place very recently, and that is why we can confidently state that you are in an unassailable position. It is simple a matter of accepting the facts that the light has emerged victorious, and will carry you into the first major changes, and also onto the new levels of vibration which you know as the fourth dimension. I am SaLuSa from Sirius, and can assure you that all proceeds well, and in the near future you will understand and see the path to the higher dimension opening up. Help your fellow travelers to see the light in action and know that their future lies with it, and that the dark ones are in decline and will not be allowed to interfere with progress. Their day has almost passed, and soon there will be revelations that will confirm their demise. It was always planned that the light would be victorious at the end of the age, and all light workers along with souls of love and caring would lead the human race to the promised land. Let love and light be your guide and protection.
Thank you.
All right, so very good message. Again, another confirmation of the changes that are taking place. You know, Dolores Cannon talks about this new earth. She's, reminding what's in the Bible about this new earth that we're moving towards and into. So, it says the new earth, we're going to get there. It's a separating. We'll be at the new earth. All those who want to cause problems will be the old earth. And with the new earth, we have to just let go of all of the old issues. Now, I think when we get to this new Earth, it'll just be a smooth transition. It's not a situation that I expect that suddenly everybody is perfectly enlightened, because that's not the case. The universe isn't going to do your work for you. Everybody still has to do their work. But what I see is going to happen, and is happening, is that all of those blockages are being removed, those that have been in the way of the progress. And then once they're out of the way, then it really opens up the possibility of everybody really evolving at a much quicker rate, because they won't have the blockages. There won't be the negative media. There won't be all the negatives holding us back. And so things will move along much smoother without. So we just need to keep the faith, keep understanding our space brothers and sisters are out there to make sure that things go smooth. Meditation time. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. Now let's contemplate the words of this affirmation for today. I am a divine idea bursting into expression, whole, complete, perfect. Today, I joyfully exercise my right to shine. Vibrations of greatness and enthusiasm undergird my life. Thoughts of health and wholeness revitalize my body temple. I am a creative, innovative, and elevated expression of God. Abundance blesses every aspect of my life. I am grateful, and so it is. So just imagine the gratitude that you feel for all of the abundance in your life. And take a moment to contemplate all of the abundance in your life. And abundance is more than just money. Money is only one source, one form of this abundance. But think of the abundance you have in terms of health, the abundance of friends or family, the abundance of wisdom and intelligence. All around you is abundance. The abundance of air that you breathe and sun that you are able to absorb. And as you realize the abundance that is around you, you realize that your life is truly filled with wealth and riches beyond your imagination. And from this perspective of looking at abundance, you see and look at this thing called money down here on Earth, Urantia. And you look at it and it looks so small in comparison to the big abundance, and you realize if all of the great abundance is there, then certainly the money and the resources we need are there as well. In the same way we manifest the abundance of the universe, all of the little ways in which it manifests also easily flows into our lives. So think of the terms of abundance, and think of the whole of abundance, and know that this abundance flows into your life and can take any form that it needs, any form that you need. And that we must simply ask, and upon the asking know that we shall receive, because that is the law of the universe, the nature of the universe. Ask and ye shall receive. Knock, the door shall be opened. Use our eyes to see and our ears to hear. And so as we trust in the wisdom of those who have come before us, we imagine the path before us smooth and easy. And we imagine all the obstacles and delays fading away, because we realize they were only an illusion created as part of this matrix, this construct of energy around us, that day by day dissolves, that we see the truth. Take another deep breath and exhale, and just keep breathing in and out slowly. And just contemplate that and understand your connection to the divinity of this universe. And once you understand that, it is laughable how man tries to control other men, because in comparison to the big picture, man is just a speck in comparison to the true divinity of this universe, the divinity which resides in you and stands forth once you call it into being. And once that divinity stands forth, you realize that there are no human rulers that even compare to that inner divinity that we all possess. So imagine yourself walking through life expressing the godness that flows from you, expressing the love and shining the light bright. And imagine yourself just walking the path of life today, shining brightly the light within you, going forth as the brave warrior into the world, fearlessly. Send out love as you go. And let's just imagine our subconscious continue on that journey while our conscious mind returns to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Just keep thinking those positive thoughts, you know. Our reality is created by the thoughts that we manifest, that flow through us. And if we're all moving in the same direction, understanding that the world is evolving into a place where it is separating the old from the new, the wheat from the chaff, the bad from the good, we just keep following the good. Because as we follow the good, we're following the path of God, the path laid before us to all the goodness we ever want in the universe. That's it, my friends. Keep loving yourself. Have an awesome day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. I'm out of here.